What's up, beautiful peoples? And thank you for watching Paige of Stylez. So today, I'm going to give you not a recommendation or suggestion, um, pretty much a suggestion for 5 fresh fragrances or 5 fresh ways to transition into your fall months. This is not the end all be all. This was just one of the first 5 that came to mind in my collection, that how you can go to the transition to the fall or autumn season without breaking out your heavy gourmands, ambers, resinous fragrances right away. So then plus at the beginning of the fall, it doesn't just turn cold right away. It gets a little cooler and cooler by the day as it's making a transition, but you still may want to be fresh up until it gets very cold in the fall. So for my first selection or choice comes from the house of Prada, and that is Prada Amber Pour Homme. To me, no, regardless of what season it is, I like this one a lot better than I like Prada L'Homme, because to me, it's a little bit more heavy, has a little bit more depth. They're both just soapy fragrances, but just with the amber, the labdanum, I'm going to guess some pink pepper or cardamom because it's something sweet in there with it as well, a little powdery. This to me, this is just a beautiful way to stay fresh, clean or soapy, transitioning into the autumn season. Performance is not bad on my skin. I get between 7.5 hours. Projection, very good for the first 2 hours. Between that 2 hour and 5.5 hour mark, even maybe approaching 6 is where it's going to go from, you know, way above average to either average or below average. You're still going to have a little scent bubble around you in that 5.5, 6 hour mark. Won't be as strong as the first 2.5 hours. But to me, this is lovely. And this is something to me where what Prada alone can't do, just due to the fact that it's so airy. It is elegant, like an elegant soap, but this is an elegant soap as well. But to me, this does a lot better for me and my skin in the fall and winter seasons. So with my first suggestion, I should say, will be from the house of Prada, and that is Amber Pour Homme. The second one comes from the house of Cartier. I call this my wet rose fragrance, and that is Declaration D'un Soir. Side note, I got this while back. Frag Boy Stewie, you made me buy this off of your review, but I don't regret it at all. This became a scent that I've come to love. What you're going to get here is this wet rose petal, rose stem type of accord or smell. Some pepper, some probably cardamom in here because that seems to be a common theme with some of the fragrances I picked out. Pepper, pink pepper, cardamom, something spicy. This is like a spicy wet rose. The spicy nature of this, the aromatics from the pepper and cardamom gives this on my skin good performance. Where in longevity wise, I get anywhere between 7.5 hours. The projection for that first hour and a half going on 2 hours is good to me. Between that second and 5th to 6th hour mark is where once again it cuts down by more than half. It's not a skin scent yet, but it just won't project like the first 2.5 hours. To me, I like this one. Some people in the community do say it smells like an old grandma type of rose, but people outside the community have never, you know, seen gave me any type of bad compliments, bad, feedback from this. I get either you smell good or that is something different, but I've never heard it smell bad or you smell like my grandmother or anything like that. So with the second suggestion to, freshly step, into the transitional season from summer to autumn would be Declaration D'un Soir by Cartier. This third suggestion is on nobody's list. That's just because this is something, a cheapie that I've grown to love since the first smell. It reminded me of two different things. Um, from the house of Original Penguin, this is Nightcap. I get vibes of CA, the original CH Men without all the greenery, and I get a tiny bit of vibes from the La Nuit because if this have cardamom in it, it kind of reminds me of the subtle sweetness of the cardamom of the La Nuit, but it kind of got this boozy, sweet feeling that you're going to get from the original Carolina Herrera from Men. Right here, I just freaking, I just love this fragrance. You don't get too much of that green stuff to me. I like this better than CH Men, except the performance is what brings it down in points. I mean, unless I spray 8 to 10 sprays, longevity wise, I'm getting 5.5 hours. Projection though, projection, that first 45 minutes up to an hour is stellar. The first time I wore this, my girlfriend gave me a compliment, and I kid you not, I was standing at least, I would say almost 8 to 10 feet away from her, where she said she could smell this and it smells good. Once again, it just doesn't last as long as a lot of other fragrances, but it's light enough to where in the hot days it won't get cloying, and in the cool days, once again, you're still going to be able to get that 5 hours longevity just due to the spices in this. This is just a provocative. It's called Nightcap, rightfully so. I mean, it's like you took a shot of maybe a little whiskey, bourbon, something that's got a tad bit of sweetness in it, and you put like a cardamom bean in it or something. But right here, I'd say this is one of the most slept on cheapies. Is it synthetic? A tad bit. But I just think the smell alone makes up for it because this actually smells good. And once again, if you did like CH Men, but you didn't like all the vegetal feeling that you got from it, try this one. Stay fresh going into the autumn season. Selection number 4 from the house of Bentley. It is Infinity Rush White Edition. Right here, another one that got a rose accord. Definitely got rose. Definitely has pretty much probably cardamom or nutmeg. It's something, once again, a little sweet in here. Performance, once again, on this, not too bad. I get around 5.5, 6 hours, with the first half an hour up to an hour being just average projection and sillage. This is just a beautiful smell. It fits right in between. The low end would be Lacoste L1212 Blanche, and the high end of the rose spectrum to me is YSL L'Homme Ultime. Another slept on banger. You can step into your autumn season, transition with a fresh fragrance. You don't have to go knee deep with the gourmands and your heavy ambers as of yet. This right here, I would recommend that you sample it. I blind buy everything, but I recommend that you sample it. But I can say, if you do like Ultime, and if you do like L1212 Blanc by Lacoste, there's a good chance you're going to like this as well. And that is Bentley Infinity Rush White Edition. And for the finish off this top 5, not going to say top 5, but 5, fresh to death, stepping into your autumn season transitional period, from the house of Christian Dior, Eau Sauvage Parfum. Yes, it is a little deeper and heavier than the original version, but this is not as heavy as, say, like a Grand Soir or a Tom Ford Noir Extreme. This is pretty much what I get here. I smell, it seems like there's a little incense in here. For like the first minute, you might get a little bit of citrus, probably bergamot, orange, something like that. Oh my lord. It's kind of a little earthy, so I'm guessing it's vetiver in here. Well, I'm pretty sure it's vetiver in here. Smell might be a little bit patchouli. The incense on my skin comes off a little sweet. Once again, that aromatic facet will allow us to stand up to the cooler days in fall, but once again, still have you feeling fresh and sophisticated enough for the hot days, and it doesn't wear heavy at all. Yes, longevity is great. You're going to, some people say they get up to 10 to 12 hours. Generally, me, it's between that 7.5, 8.5 hour mark, with the first 2.5 hours of projection being the strongest. After the 2.5 hour mark to the 6, 7 hour mark is going to leave a mild scent trail. Once again, another banger where people outside of the fragrance community will say you smell good. They may say make you seem older than you are, but I've never, once again, got a bad remark or bad feedback from wearing this outside the fragrance community. So that wraps up my suggestion of 5 fragrances to remain fresh, transitioning into the fall period that holds you over until you can pull out your ambers and gourmands and other deep, dark fragrances. If you like the content, found it entertaining or informative, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I'd like to give a shout out to all my returning viewers. And for your newcomers, hope you turn into returning viewers. Let's grow and evolve together. In this book of life, turn to the Paige of Stylez. Y'all be blessed and walk in peace to the next one.